Hello children, welcome to aimsindia's online classes. This is biology session, control and coordination. So this particular video acts like a revision part. Let us recapitulate the concepts which we have learnt and discuss some important questions. Are you ready, children? Control and coordination. In animals, the nervous system and endocrine system, that is hormones, are responsible for control and coordination. So here receptors are the special cells, specialized. They are present in the sense organs of animals to receive stimuli, and these cells are called receptors. The specialized cells present in the sense organs of animals to receive stimuli are called receptors. There are different types of receptors are present in animals with specific functions. Okay? The coordinated activity of any organism depends on a continuous input or the continuous input of information from both the outside world and the internal environment. Okay, children? Coordination must be there, both the internal environment and external environment. All living organisms are sensitive. They can respond to stimuli. It is the basic characteristic feature of living organisms. A receptor is a part of nervous system that is adapted to receive stimuli. Our senses cause the ability to be aware of different aspects of it, the environment. The receptors are classified according to the type of stimulus they respond. Okay? So phonoreceptors, these receptors are specialized for hearing. They are present in the ear. Photoreceptors, they are responsible for vision, detecting light. So they are present in the eyes. Thermoreceptors, they can respond to the stimulus heat. They are present in the skin. Olfactory receptors, these receptors are present in the tongue and especially in the nose. Olfactory means smell. Smell receptors are present in the nose. Next, gustatory receptors, they are present in the tongue. They are called taste receptors. They sense the taste. These olfactory receptors and gustatory receptors are together called as chemoreceptors because they function in detecting the chemicals by dissolving in the mucous membrane present in the sense organ. Okay, you can see here rods and cones. These are present in the eyes. Photoreceptors. Okay, phonoreceptors present in the ear. Smell receptors, olfactory, they are present in the nose. Gustatory, taste receptors, they are present in the mouth. Then touch receptors, they are found in the skin and the sensitive parts of the body, tips of the fingers, like that. These touch receptors are most abundant. Okay, so rod cells in the retina of eye, they detect, they respond to the stimulus light. Okay, the taste buds present on the tongue detects the chemicals, and the hair cells in the ear, there are mechanical changes such as the change in the length helps in determining the temperature. Mechanoreceptors, they are called the touch receptors. Touch pressure of skin due to the mechanical change. So the nerve cells in the skin acts as mechanoreceptors. Okay. The sense organs, how many are there? 5. The skin responds to touch, pressure, pain, heat and cold. Next, tongue. The tongue responds to the chemicals in our food and drink. It gives us our sense of taste, whereas nose responds to the chemicals in the air and it gives us our sense of smell. Next, ears. Ears respond to the sound vibrations and movements. They give us our sense of hearing and also our balancing. Then the eyes, most important sense organs, they respond to the light rays and they give us our sense of vision or sight. Next, nervous system. The nervous system is composed of specialized tissue called nervous tissue. Okay, the nerve cell or neuron is the functional unit of nervous system. The nervous system is mainly responsible for control and coordination in most of the higher animals, complex animals. A neuron is the structural and functional unit of a nervous system. Okay, the nervous system is divided into the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomous nervous system, which we have studied. The central nervous system consisting of brain and spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system consisting of the nerve ganglions and the nerves arising from the brain and spinal cord. Okay, and even autonomous nervous system also include, which is spread on both sides of the ventral side of the body. The types of neurons. We come across the neurons. The neurons are of different types. What are they? Sensory neurons. Sensory neurons are the neurons responsible for converting the external stimuli from the environment into corresponding internal stimuli. Okay, or we can say the sensory neurons transmit the impulses from receptors to the brain and spinal cord. These are called afferent fibers, AFF. The sensory neurons carry the information or stimuli from sense organs to the brain and spinal cord. They are called afferent or incoming neurons. The structure of motor neurons, if you take, it is a multipolar. Each cell contains a single axon and multiple dendrites. That's why it is called multipolar. This is the most common type of neuron. Okay, multipolar neuron is the most common type of neuron. Motor neurons carry the information from brain and spinal cord to the effector organ. They are called efferent or outgoing neurons. Okay, motor neurons carry messages or instructions from the brain and the spinal cord through efferent fibers to various organs. Okay, and interneurons or connector neurons are associated neurons. These are the central nodes of the neural circuits. They enabling the communication between the sensory or motor neurons and the central nervous system. Okay, especially associated neurons or interneurons are present in the spinal cord. Next, the structure of neuron, very important. Neuron comprises of dendrite, axon and cell body. There are three main parts. Dendrites receives the information from the surroundings and sends it to the cell body. Cell body consisting of the nucleus, mitochondria and other organelles. A special substance is present in the cell body that is called Nessels substance or Nessel granules. The axon transmit the messages away from the cell body and pass it to the next receiving neuron. A neuron is a structural and functional unit of a nervous system, and the place where these axon ends or telodendrites ends, okay, that gap junction is called a synapse. Synapse is the chemical junction between the terminals of one neuron and the dendrites of another neuron, okay, or effector organ. Okay, see here the structure of neuron, the beautiful structure. The neuron consisting of cell body or cyton and axon. These two are the main, and dendrites are the branches produced from the cyton. If more branches are there, then they are called multipolar neurons. Okay, unipolar, dipolar, multipolar, like that, depending upon the number of dendrites arise from the cell body or cyton. Okay, so the difference between the axon and cyton is presence of these nasal granules in the cytoplasm of the cell body. Okay, it possesses well-defined nucleus, so it is a eukaryotic cell neuron, and special cells are present called Schwann cells, which secrete a membrane called myelin sheath. There are some gaps present in this myelin sheath called as node of Ranvier, and the axon ends in axon terminals or nerve terminals. They possess synaptic knob. The synaptic knob means the small gap, okay, occupied by this. So hence all the functions carried out by the brain depends upon these neurons. That's why they are called the structural and functional units of brain and spinal cord or central nervous system. Synapse, a neuromuscular junction or nerve transmission. So these three are very important terms which we come across. A synapse means a junction between the two nerve cells consisting of a minute gap across which impulses, through which the impulses, nerve impulses, pass by diffusion of a neurotransmitter. A neuromuscular junction, or it is also called myoneural junction, is a chemical synapse between a motor neuron and a muscle fiber. It allows the motor neuron to transmit a signal to the muscle fiber, causing muscle contraction. The muscle contraction depends upon a neuromuscular junction. The nerve impulse. What is nerve impulse? The transmission of a nerve impulse along a neuron from one end to the other occurs as a result of electrical changes across the membrane of the neuron. Okay, always the transmission of information takes place in the form of electrical impulses called nerve impulse, or it is also called action potential. The nerve impulse, see how it takes place. So the synaptic junction, you can see here the axon of the previous neuron and the cyton of the neuron cell body will have some gap that is called synapse. It's a junction. So these are the dendrites. The electrical signals will be passing from the cyton to the axon, from where through this synapse the transmission takes place. Okay, it is called nerve impulse. So human nervous system is classified into central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomous nervous system. The central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system consisting of 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Total 43 pairs of nerves are present. They are called peripheral nerves. Then autonomous nervous system. The autonomous nervous system is composed of a chain of nerve ganglion which runs across or along the spinal cord. Okay, it controls all the involuntary actions in the body. The autonomous nervous system can be divided into two parts: sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. They function together and across each other. Okay, they are equal and opposite, and controls the rate of reactions in the body. All vital functions are controlled by the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So human nervous system divided into central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomous nervous system or autonomic nervous system. CNS, PNS, ANS. The central nervous system consisting of brain and spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system consisting of cranial nerves 12 pairs, and spinal nerves 31 pairs. Autonomous nervous system is divided into sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. The brain consisting of three main divisions: forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. Whereas the cranial nerves arise from the brain, spinal nerves arise from the spinal cord. Okay. So this is a brief review of the chapter. So some questions which appear from the previous contests, let us answer. Which is the functional unit of nervous system in humans? Neuron, neuromuscular junction, spinal cord, brain. Okay, which is called the functional unit? Neurons. Okay, or nerve cells. Next, which part of the neuron receives signals from another neuron? Cyton, axon, dendrite, myelin sheath. Which part of the neuron receives signals from another neuron? Okay, so the dendrites collect the information from other cells, whereas cell body controls the metabolism of the nerve cell, whereas axon carries the information from cell body to axon. Okay, so here the dendrites. Okay, dendrites receives the signals from another neuron. Which part of the neuron sends signals to another neuron? Dendrite, axon, cyton, myelin sheath. It is the axon which sends the signals to the another neuron. Which is the largest part of human brain? Cerebrum, cerebellum, pons varolii, medulla oblongata. So it is the cerebrum. Forebrain is the largest part of the human brain. Next, which part of the human brain controls the motor functions? Cerebrum, cerebellum, pons, medulla. Okay, motor functions are under the control of which part of the brain? Cerebrum, cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata. It is the cerebrum. Next, when you are balancing your bicycle, this action is controlled by which part of your brain? Balancing: cerebrum, cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata. It is the cerebellum which controls the balancing organ of our body. When you salivate at the sight of a tasty food, this action is controlled by which part of your brain? Cerebrum, cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata. It is a reflex action, medulla oblongata. Nervous system consists of brain, spinal cord, nerves, all of the above. So what is the composition of nervous system? It consisting of brain, spinal cord and nerves. Next, name the system that controls every activity that you do. Nervous system, exocrine system, endocrine system, respiratory system. It is a nervous system which controls every activity that you do. Which nerves are attached to the brain and emerge from the skull? Cranial nerves, spinal nerves, thoracic nerves, sacral nerves. The cranial nerves. Skull is also called cranium. The nerves which come out or emerge from the cranium, they are called cranial nerves. There are 12 pairs of these cranial nerves are present. Okay, children? You read the textbook, clarify the doubts with a regular teacher. Okay? Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.